Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
No money down. No down payment. No payments till February 2022. No interest. That's right. It's November at Premier. Shop PremierTroy.com. And the most important nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
A personal touch. A high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
It's Mike Amos. Bill Rice is on the phone. Mike Amos from Great Beach will be on the phone soon. Rice, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Mike. Thank you. Jack is, we're keeping him home today. He's got a little cold or something, so yeah. I'm staying home with him.
I've been getting compliments about my power canthas on the air today, and Steve claims that they look good, and they look pretty good to me. There's one little old guy hiding over behind there. I think that is an Auburn Tiger or something. Of course, Auburn getting ready for a big bowl game in Birmingham. So that should do well with the people, Auburn people in Birmingham. We got another football game. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm curious to see if it'll be a sold-out stadium. I guess it probably will be, or close to.
I would think so. I tell you what, we'll find out a lot about Auburn, won't we? We'll find out if those Auburn folks are serious about their football team. What do you think?
I think so. And it should be a real good game. Houston's got a good team. If I was an Auburn fan and lived anywhere near Birmingham, I'd be going.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. And like you said, they're playing against a very good Houston team, and should be quite a game.
Hey, Mike, did you know Marcus Jones that transferred to Houston from Troy several years ago made first-team AP All-American as a cornerback?
Did you get that? All you Enterprise people, did you realize that your guy is All-American? First-team All-American.
He made All-American on some other teams and as a kick returner. So he's the best kick returner in America. So how about that?
I tell you what, from Enterprise, Alabama, through Troy, through Houston, and he, I want to say he's got another year left, doesn't he?
That's a good question. I would think if he does, he's probably going pro.
Yeah.
But he is probably the first player who has ever played for Troy who made first team All-American.
You're right. You're exactly right. And hello, Enterprise, Alabama, this morning. You from Enterprise, call in and rave on about your All-American, first-team All-American, who was playing at Houston. Went through Troy, transferred from Troy to the Houston Cougars. And, you know, Rice, something also, I imagine the wide receiver that went to Texas Tech probably won some honors, wouldn't you say?
I bet he won some all-conference honors, second or third team all-conference. So he had a good year. Yeah,
I'd like to know how many passes he caught this year. Mike Amos will be coming in on our airways in just a few moments, along with Bill Rice, who's subbing this morning to take care of a bunch of kids, and that's understandable. Of course, it is very, very the 15th day of December And Rice, how many days did that mean shopping days we'll have? We got 16, we got 17, we got 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, counting, not counting today. So 10 shopping. Wait a minute, excuse me. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that would be 10 shopping days left to Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Like old Pappy Talbot would say.
I need every one of them. I usually go out and get several things on Christmas Eve, and what I usually do, Mike, is I just go to the square, and I just bounce around about 4 or 5 places on the square.
That's right.
And usually I can get Terry, she likes bubble bath and stuff like that.
Well, that sounds like, that's right, that sounds like fun. That flower is starting to dance with Crimson Tide of Alabama. Fight on, Alabama. And that's Big Al coming to you live from our studios on South Grundy Street in Troy, Alabama. It's today in L.A., and I hope you're doing well as we feel today. And, of course, everybody in Troy, Alabama is getting excited. The school's out and after tomorrow. Wait a minute, excuse me. School's out after Friday. Is that right? Is that when the schools are out?
School's out tomorrow. It's the last day of school.
And they've got a good holiday.
You know what they say in Texas? They say, remember the Alamo. You know what they say in Alabama?
Remember the Rose Bowl.
Remember the Rose Bowl.
Oh.
That's what put Texas on the map, and that's what put Alabama on the map.
I tell you what, this guy doesn't want to shut up this morning, this Big Al. And of course, we hope that you're doing well today. It's a crisp, and I really mean this, a crisp 46 degrees outside and 43 degrees at the airport. So it's quite cool, but it seems like it's colder than that to me. Have you been out yet?
I'm sitting on the back porch with my coat on. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
It's crisp.
And you're probably smoking a cigarette and drinking a cup of coffee, aren't you?
I'm drinking a cup of coffee and looking out at a grove of pine trees in the Webb's yard.
Hey, now let's talk about the history of that yard. The great, and I call him the great because he was, Tip Colley, built that home. I don't know how many years ago it was, but I always remember when we would ride around, and we always rode around as a family and looked at the Christmas decorations. But Tip Colley's was the focal place to look at for Christmas, and beautiful white gate, and white. Yeah, that's right, and then they had it well decorated. They always had a spotlight on it, and beautiful house. And
oh, you ought to see what the Webbs bought it and fixed it up. It's easily one of the prettiest houses.
All right. Let's bring Mike Amos in here. Good morning. How you doing, Mike?
Hi, morning.
And now let me get Rice back in here, Mike, on hold. And I can't do this like Rice can do it. Rice got used to doing it, and then let's do that. There we go. Well, who we got on, Rice or Mike?
Yeah, man.
All right. I will try. How you doing down in Grayton this morning?
I saw you on TV last night.
Hold on a second. Rice, I'm having a time doing this. You were doing it. There we go. Well, gosh. Try it again. I'm having a real hard time with it. Let's see here. There we go. Here we go, right here. I think so. There we go. There we got both of you now. Is that right?
Bill checking in there.
Bill Rice checking in from the back porch on Flavia Circle. And Mike Amos.
I saw you on TV last night. I was watching the Troy Alabama A&M basketball game. And Alabama A&M had only
one game, and Troy was tied with them at the half, and Troy found a way to win. But you're not going to beat too many teams. We got 20 turnovers.
20 turnovers last night. That is not good. You're exactly right. I tell you what, too, I'm going to say something. The coach for A&M was excellent. I mean, he was an older guy, and evidently had been there a long time. I want you to look up some stuff on him. He was really, really the difference for them, and he kept them in the game. And it was a good basketball game, and it was a lot closer than it actually looked.
Yeah, I saw you throughout the game on television. You were right behind Troy's bench talking to some guy in a cap.
Yeah, oh yeah, talking to my buddy, my good friend. We were talking pretty much the whole ball game. And I was behind.
Looked like a crowd of 300 people for a basketball game.
It was a terrible crowd, and I'm sure they just didn't get the word out or something. I know school's out and everybody's gone, but that was a real good basketball game, and a lot of people missed it. And we've got to do better than that attendance-wise. I know that.
I'll tell you what, that was not a good basketball game with Alabama. Went on the road and played Memphis, who had lost 4 in a row. Memphis has got 4 guys that are probably first-round picks in the NBA draft. They just haven't been playing as a team. Penny Hardaway, the former great player, is their coach. And they just destroyed Alabama last night in basketball. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, that's something. Then, of course,
I mean, Alabama and Nate Oates did a horrible scheduling job. He played one of the toughest, most aggressive teams, physical teams in the country in Houston, and Alabama wins at the buzzer. And then you only have 2 days to get ready for Memphis at Memphis. That was just a trap game waiting to happen, and Memphis wins 92-78. Scored 92 points on Alabama.
Oh, boy, that's something. Then, last night, Mike, it tickled me. At the game, one of the officials officiated the Houston game. He's from Selma. What's his name, Mike, the official?
Patrick Evans.
Patrick Evans actually played for Troy, and he was officiating the game. Did you know that?
How about that?
Yeah, that's right.
That's George, the legendary George Evans.
Yeah, George Evans. Yeah, George Evans, I think, worked something like 8 Final Fours. George Evans, one of the great guys, former mayor of Selma, and they officiated some of the biggest games in basketball history over the years. And great one. But Patrick is now an SEC official, and he acted like he didn't hear me, but I was right there at the desk when he was reporting, and I said, George, was it really basket interference? And he just smiled and walked off. Evidently.
Surely he remembers you when he played. He played at Troy, was a really good three-point shooter.
Oh yeah, he was a good player, and of course George. At one time we had 3 players now, and this is a fact. 3 players from the county school, Mike, that started for Troy. You know who I'm talking about?
The county school of what?
Of Selma.
They all go to South Side?
They all went to South Side of Selma. The 3 guys went to South Side of Selma, and they started at one time at Troy.
How about that?
Little bitty town, but at one time they produced a lot of great basketball players. And George Evans, his son, who Patrick, he played at Selma High School, and for years and years, probably the best program in the state of Alabama was Selma High School. They were really good.
Well, who did he play for? Did he play for Maestri? Or?
Yeah, he played for Maestri. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
What about? Did you hear any rumblings last night? Who's the offensive and defensive coordinator?
I've got a little mumblings. We know this, and I got a little inside information. Bam is staying, and our other guy's staying, Mike.
Coach Poe?
Yeah, Coach Poe is staying, and Bam is staying. And
I already knew Bam was staying. I knew Coach Rusty Witt was going to be the stream coach, so he's staying on. But it's good to hear if Al Poe's coming back.
Al Poe, yeah, and also our guy who played at Troy and played in the pros.
Who, Davern?
Yeah, no, not Davern.
Gary Banks.
Gary Banks is staying, what I've heard. So that's 3 good ones there, we know. And, of course, they've still...
Gary came on late on the Chip Lindsey staff. This was his first year, this past year.
Evidently had real good credentials, and he must have looked good in the eyes of the new head football coach.
We mentioned yesterday that Brandon Hall, Troy's defense coordinator, has taken a job with Brent Vettles at Oklahoma. He's going to be the safeties coach, defense coordinator at Oklahoma.
Yeah, he's a good coach, and we wish him well. Coach.
Well, I mean, you're talking a huge pay raise too, so good for him and his family.
Oh yeah, no question about it. No question.
Michael, I told your dad that I saw on the scroll on the bottom of the TV screen that Marcus Jones made first team AP All-American as a defensive back. And I'm sure he made first team All-American on several teams as a kick returner as well. So that's probably the first player that ever played at Troy that made first team All-American.
That's right. Probably so.
Yeah, I think Carlson Marshall made it maybe, I don't know if it was Walter Camp. It might have been Pro Football Focus or Pro Focus. He made All-American. I don't know if it's first team, though. But I don't know. What was AP, though? He won AP, Marcus Jones did?
Yes,
yeah.
AP, the Associated Press.
That's as good as you can get.
The Bob Hope Show, remember?
Yeah, that's right. That's as good as you can get right there.
Yeah, that's a big question. I wonder if he'll play against Auburn in the bowl game.
Yeah. And Michael, give us a report on the other transfer that went to Texas Tech. See how he did this year.
Yeah, I looked. He caught about 45 balls for like 600 yards. Kalen Geiger.
Yeah, Geiger had a pretty good year then, didn't he?
Yeah, they'll play in a bowl game too.
Yeah.
So,
that's right.
Play one more game.
Want to mention, of course, a wonderful Christmas parade. They're still buzzing downtown over what a tremendous crowd we had for the 7 o'clock parade Monday night, and everybody seemed like they had a lot of fun. And we initiated the Christmas season in the city of Troy, and everybody's all fired up to shop Troy this week, this Christmas. But the first place to go, grab a bicycle, go buy you a bicycle, and drop by the big trailer, Wiley Sanders trailer on the bypass next to Troy Bank and Trust Company, and give that bike for Christmas. Buy a bike, give it away to the Sanders company to give away to a needy young person at Christmas, and we're all excited about that. Also, the big Christmas feast, and I'm sure they need more volunteers to help them load up to what now? Turkeys from Heaven, and of course Miss Kelly Sanders' project, and it's called Turkeys from Heaven, and it goes to a very well group of people. Great cause, no question about it, and hopefully these people that are being treated with this wonderful meal, are people that will try to help other people in their community.
Did you order your dressing from Sisters? Do they do Sisters? Do they do dressing for Christmas?
Yes, sir, they do, and I've already ordered mine, and I've already ordered my cake from Miss from my great friend, and looking for it. What now?
Mrs. Lee, Janie Lee's mom?
Yeah. That's don't publicize it too much. Other people be calling in now, and I got to make sure I get mine.
We got National Signing Day going on, so maybe we can update on Johnny's throughout the show.
And you know what?
Alabama's predicted to be number one, but could have a few guys waver, and Auburn's finishing pretty strong. I saw where Zach Efforts just picked up a couple guys, and he apparently is a pretty good recruiter. The former Charles Henderson Trojan, he's on the coaching staff at Auburn. is apparently pretty good out there on the recruiting trail.
If you are a good recruiter, you can stay a college coach a long time.
Yeah.
So that's good for Zach.
Now, let me tell you this. This could be premature here, but I've heard that Troy has just 5 commitments. 5. They went ahead and signed 5 people, and of course look to go to the portal to get a lot of other players.
Well, that's commitment. All we have now is commitments. That don't mean anything, as we're going to find out today.
Yeah, that's right. But it's the actual signing day today. Yeah.
Now, you're only committed for 1 year. Heck, a lot of these people will sign and they'll transfer in a month later. So who knows what it means in this new world we live in.
So you're right. They could go ahead and sign, but then they could be picked up by the portal. Is that right?
I think once they enroll in school and for a week, they feel like they want to transfer, they can transfer.
Well, like hopefully.
24/7 Sports right now has Georgia, the number 1 recruiting class, 27 commitments, 4 5-stars, 16 4-stars, and 7 3-stars. Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher having a great year too. They have 4 5-stars, 15 4-stars, 3 3-stars. Alabama's at 3rd right now on 24/7 Sports with 3 5-stars, 16 4-stars, and 2 3-stars. So that's the early projections.
I'm looking at one player, and he's the defensive lineman for Pike Road. That it's what I've read says coming down between Alabama and Auburn might have to be the favorite. But this guy is apparently the real deal. He's listed as the number 11 prospect in Alabama, but I bet he's better than that.
Yeah.
So let's watch and see what this young man does.
Mike, I hope one of Troy's commitments is the quarterback from Brantley named Tucker Kilcrease. You folks from Brantley, give us a call if Tucker is coming to Troy, and we hope so. He's a quarterback and been a quarterback at Brantley High School for the last 3 or 4 years. An excellent prospect, and hopefully Troy will get him. And I don't know who the other 5 might be, but Troy is hanging out there, I'm sure, to pick up a bunch of portals, the guys that can help them play right away.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, so you need to. It's interesting now is how many do you sign and how many spots do you hold back for the portal? I guess that depends on how many total scholarships you'll have on your team next semester. You know, the 85 number is important.
Very important. Very important.
Yeah, the only guy that signed is a 3-star out of Bremen, Georgia. Blake Matthews, athlete, 6'3", 200, is signed on the dotted line with Troy.
So they've already got him.
Hard commits is Tucker Kilcrease out of Brantley, Alabama. He's 6'1", 186. He's supposed to sign with Troy today. Then Matthew Johnson out of Mulberry, offensive tackle, 6'5", 285. He's supposed to commit to Troy. And then another offensive tackle out of Munford, Alabama, 6'5", 285. Kyler Gibson.
Yeah, that sounds good if they can play. They sure look pretty from here, 285, and of course from Munford, Mike, that's way up there, that's right at Jacksonville State territory.
Yeah, one for Munford and one for Mulberry.
Mulberry, all right. Munford and Mulberry, I don't know much about them, but they're big kids. I know that they haven't missed many tables full of great food, have they?
There is a Charles Henderson played a lot of teams with Division I prospects. We mentioned Pike Road at about 10. But then Montgomery Catholic, they had a linebacker that was committed to Oregon, but I think he's now decommitted since Cristobal went to Miami.
That's right.
So I wonder if Alabama or Auburn might come after him. And then there was a linebacker receiver from Williamson that was committed to Alabama, and he might be one of those that's wavering. But I remember Charles Henderson's coach saying that Charles Henderson's great sophomore receiver went up over that guy and caught a touchdown pass.
Yeah, yeah. But I tell you, that kid for Charles Henderson, just sophomore, he's going to be a great one. It's a wide receiver, Charles Henderson. Everybody's talking about him.
I'm going to email somebody at the Alabama Athletic Department today and say, y'all need to get on this young man. My wife tells me that he's getting contacts from every school in the country almost, but he hadn't heard from Alabama yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that either he'll be waiting on Alabama or Alabama might be waiting on him. I don't know. Who else, Michael, do we have out there that might have already gone ahead and signed?
That's it so far for Troy.
All right, and those two linemen sound pretty good now. And one of them's from from Mulga, and the other, not Mulga. Where are they from?
Marbury and Munford.
Munford and Marbury. So hopefully those two guys, the M&M boys, will have already signed. Is that right?
They're hard commits. They have signed letters.
Okay. Well, you would think they would do it today. Is that right?
They don't have to. They have a later signing day.
Yeah, but that's all the way until February. Yeah, you would think Troy would try to sign them right now.
In the last couple of years, about 90% of your players go ahead and sign.
Yeah.
In mid-December, though.
Yeah. All right.
Carlson Marshall just received another award. He's made the Phil Steele All-American team. So Carlson Marshall gets another postseason award.
Boy, I tell you, he's been a great one.
If Carlson Marshall plays next year, all he needs is 104 tackles, which is a lot for most guys, but Marshall averages, I think, about 125 a year. But he has 104 tackles. He'll break the all-time tackle record in NCAA football history.
That right there is something that
I would
that you
do
don't.
it.
Yeah, that is awesome.
If you could become the all-time leading tackler in college football history, that's something that you can carry with you the rest of your life.
No question about it.
How bad do you think Brandon Hall wants to try to get him at Oklahoma next year?
I bet. I know it. I bet they've already probably got a contract waiting for him. Probably, you're right. But I tell you, Carlson Marshall will go down as one of the greatest players to ever put on a Troy uniform. There's been some good ones too, some real good ones that played the linebacker position. Tim Tucker was one of them for Enterprise.
Especially being a walk-on.
That's right.
Nobody offered him.
Yeah. Well, I can just riddle off some of the great names that played linebacker for Troy and over the years.
Who was that guy in the early Blakeney years that was from Viger that was a linebacker? He was
I know.
Anthony Rabb.
Anthony Rabb, he was one of the best all-time players to ever play at Troy. You're right, Mike. And Rice, you're right.
And then in the 80s, the great linebacker was Derek Pimenta.
Yeah, you're right. Pimenta was a great one, and Darrell Blow was a great one, and you had from Brandon, Florida, was a great linebacker. There's been a slew of them.
But DeMarcus Ware was considered an outside linebacker in the NFL, but he was really a
defensive end.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, the guys everybody remembers late in his career was the Killer Bees, Boris Lee and Bear Woods.
Bear Woods
You're exactly right.
In the Canadian Football League, isn't he?
Well, they had their Grey Cup the other night. I watched it on TV. Did y'all see any of it?
Yeah, the guy they called the winning touchdown was Darvin Adams. He's played with Cam Newton in Auburn.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, Boris Lee I always thought would have played at the next level. Boris Lee and Bear were both incredible linebackers.
Of course, like you said, Bear played in the Canadian Football League and was very successful. And I think he lives. That's where he lives now. There.
Bear was the defensive player of the year in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah.
I think so. He is a great character, an interesting man.
He might be the best role model we've got out there, and we've got some good ones out there. But Bear Woods, the kind of life he's lived, and the kind of people he's been around, and played. I imagine he possibly could go down in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame one day.
I wonder what he'll do after his football career. He'll be successful. I wonder if he wants to be a coach.
I tell you what, I'd hire him in a second. I don't know if he's got a haircut yet, you know.
He lives in Wetumpka in the off-season.
Oh, he does live in Wetumpka? Well, I tell you what, if he's home for the holidays, give us a ring this morning. Of course, Johnny Williams, I'm waiting on Johnny Williams to call in and talk about the Camellia Bowl that pits a couple of good teams. And, of course, you know, Johnny's game comes on Christmas Day, so it's a possibility that Johnny's game on Christmas Day could be the most watched game of the whole bowl season, Mike. It's for some reason people say, well, after they wake up, they open the presents, and then they eat their turkey. Then what is there left? Well, they said, oh, there's a football game on TV. Let's watch it. And it's a lot of fun to gesture like we do, and Mike Amos and Bill Rice Jr. are calling in from different parts of the country. One of them is from Great Beach, Florida. What kind of weather we got down there this morning?
It's sunny and supposed to be really pretty today, is what they say. I mean, right now it's about 54 degrees. It's supposed to get up into the 70s.
I want to mention Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, a great place to start a career with a great company. Wiley Sanders Truck Lines of Troy, Alabama wants you to be a part of their team, and it's a great team indeed. And, of course, want to say hello to Jeffrey and all the great people that are putting together this bicycle Christmas giveaway, and we need more bikes. So drop a bicycle by the Troy Bank and Trust Company. You'll see the big trailer, the Wiley Sanders trailer, and there'll be somebody to put it in that trailer and give away for Christmas. So it'll be a great gesture, you know, however price you want to pay for a bike, as long as it's new. We want a new bike, or one that looks like new. So isn't that right, Mike?
Yeah, and get got a frog in my throat. Get some with a training wheels, and then some without training wheels.
That's right. Is Jackson ready to start riding a bicycle?
Well, I took off his training wheels a couple of weeks ago, and I gave him his first 2 lessons, and he hadn't soloed yet. I tell you what, Mr. Hobson Showery taught Michael how to ride a bike, but I always made sure. I said, well, if you got to dump your bike, you know what I'm saying, jump off your bike, try to do it in a soft area, like over there by that pine straw or something. Yep, that's right. I go in Mr. Quattlebaum's driveway next door to me, and I tell him, you know, if you feel you're going to fall, just steer it over there in the grass and fall there. But it's tough.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I can remember learning to ride a bike, and people are going to laugh at me, but I can remember going down the little hill between Dan Harris's house and the other house. It was a hill that you go down, and when you get down to the bottom, you're on Fairview Street. Well, I can remember jumping off that bike at the Wayne Brock's yard, or the Pearson yard, maybe Joe Henry Pearson's yard. And I just jumped off. I was scared. I didn't know how to use the brake.
Yeah.
And some people say I probably didn't ever learn how to use the brake. I know this, that my brother got a Swin bike, and it was different, but it wasn't as pretty as my bike. I got an English bike, one of those fancy English bikes that people remember. And, hey, one day I was riding down the road, and you know, I was looking back at some friends of mine. I was waving at them, and I ran in the back of a car. In fact, it was James Gordon Flowers' grandmama's car. It was one of those wood grain cars. You ever remember a car that had wood grain on it? Well, hey, I didn't see a car in the road, but hey, she was parked in the road, and I hit the back end of it. Boy, I learned a lesson doing that. But you know what? it bent that English bike almost double. Because it just had a thin bar, on the English bike. And my brother, he got the Swed bike, that big strong bike, and he finally gave me the Swed bike after he got tired of it.
Did you have ever have a 10-speed? I had a 3-speed.
That's why the English bike was. The English bike was the 4 or 5 speed, and Nick, stop laughing, Nick, because I know y'all didn't have bicycles up there in the Bronx. He lived in the Bronx, New York, and they didn't give him bicycles. They gave him a machine gun. They gave him a machine gun for Christmas.
Big news for Goshen High School yesterday. They'll make the drop back down to 2A, so that'll be a lot better for Goshen. 3A was a tough task for Goshen High School.
You're exactly right. But you know what, though, Mike?
They'll be in Region 3 with Barber County, Goshen, Holland Home, Horseshoe Bend, Lafayette, Lynette, Luverne, and Reeltown.
Oh, boy. Those last three, the Luverne, Lynette, and Reeltown, is pretty good right there, just along. Mike.
Well, that's good that Goshen and Luverne will be in the same area.
It sure will. And something else I'll tell you. The 2A in South Alabama is strong. You just look at your 2As.
Listen to Region 2. Region 2 is Abbeville, Arrington, Cottonwood, Geneva County, G.W. Long, Sampson, Witzburg, and Zion Chapel.
Oh, yeah.
What is Charles Henderson?
Charles Henderson going to stay 4A.
Who all's in Charles Henderson's area?
I'll have to pull it up.
Is Charles Henderson going to remain 5A? Are they going to remain 5A?
Yeah.
With Andalusia and all them?
I think so.
And by the way, I haven't made my trip to Andalusia to see the lights, but ladies and gentlemen, you look at Troy's tree, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But think of this. Drive to Andalusia, and you'll see a tree twice that size. Huge tree. They went out, the mayor of Andalusia told me this. He said it was the best money we've ever spent in Andalusia, was that giant tree that everybody's going to Andalusia to visit. And they're visiting Andalusia, and they're buying from the Andalusia vendors down there. They say around the tree is gobs of vendors, and then the other shopping in Andalusia. So
wow,
he says it's been great.
This is really bad news for Charles Henderson. Eufaula makes the drop down from 6A.
Oh boy!
So now Eufaula is in Region 2 in the 5A. So Charles Henderson will have to play Carroll, Ozark, Eufaula, Greenville, Headland, and Rehoboth.
Oh boy! Well, all right. Now, if they could beat Headland and Rehoboth out, we got a chance for a playoff, don't we?
Yeah, I think they take 4 teams, or maybe 3. 3 or 4, I believe.
But the new one.
Eufaula at 5A, man. You would have to think Rigby will have a chance to win a state championship.
Yeah. Then, of course, Greenville's got a good, strong program, too, and you'll continue to drive over to Greenville for the game, won't you? So,
one of my points of pride from my life is that I was on the 1980 state championship team.
You're right. The only state championship since the Bobby Marlowe era,
Yeah, they didn't have state champions back in the day, and but there were only 4 classifications back then, and so I don't know how many high schools have football programs in Alabama, maybe 500. But so to win a state championship, you had to beat about 120 teams. Now you just have to beat about 70 teams to win a state championship. Yeah. In private school where Pike Liberal Arts plays, they only have to beat 11 other teams, I think.
Yeah. They've got to, and hear this, you folks with Pike Liberal Arts. Nothing at all is wrong with you winning that state championship. Don't let me make you think I'm thinking that way. But actually, the best situation I could see for Pike Liberal Arts is to play stay a private school and have open door policy, whatever, but play a public school schedule, like to play a Goshen, to play a Highland Home, to play a Luverne, to play a
it's just like
Zion Chapel.
It's just like what the Houston Academy does, what Montgomery Academy,
Yeah.
Trinity, Montgomery Catholic.
Providence plays that.
They all play a public school schedule.
Play a public school schedule.
That'd be a good trivia question. Find out how many private schools are in the public school association. Tuscaloosa Academy is making the move to the public school association. But
and they were the strong school.
We also got to think about this. We've been saying that Pike Liberal Arts could be competitive in public school, but we probably were assuming that Pike Liberal Arts was going to keep recruiting great public school players, and I don't know if Pike Liberal Arts is going to continue that kind of marketing strategy in the future with Coach Hickson. So it might be a little tougher for Pike Liberal Arts to compete in football if they quit recruiting, 11 or 12 players every year.
And
everybody that wants to play defense and play a 100-mile radius wants to come play for Cornelius Griffin. Is what it comes down to.
You're exactly right.
Come to play for Coach Hickson.
You're exactly right.
If I was a kid and I wanted to play for one of the greatest players in this area ever, I mean, I would want to come play for Cornelius Griffin.
That's right.
Defense coordinator.
You're exactly right, Mike. That's one thing that a lot of other people can't buy is a great coach like Cornelius. And
I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, I think he'll slow down from what we've seen. But there's still going to be a lot of kids that are going to want to come play there because they want to win a state championship.
Yeah. Well, I tell you,
they can do it. Anybody is free to go to a private school, and I don't begrudge it. But it's a question of whether you just kind of actively solicit or recruit these players, or they just come on their own.
Yeah.
Right. How do we get the Charles Henderson Booster Club or some of these former players from that 80 team? We need to somehow find a way to get y'all a state championship ring.
Yeah, I know.
Really
you're right.
That y'all don't have a state championship ring. I mean, that's something that even later in life, like, I mean, if y'all at your age, I would still want a ring.
Yeah, it's all good.
State championship team.
And I'll tell you what, that state championship team played a tough schedule too. They wasn't no easy ride for them to, or easy ride for a state championship. And Coach J. Jeffco.
Y'all are the only state championship team I've ever heard of in my life that doesn't have a state championship ring. That's
right.
How did that happen? I still can't believe it.
That's right.
I didn't think much about it. I remember a few people talking about it that, like, aren't we going to get rings? I wouldn't have probably got one because I wouldn't have let it, I don't think. Yeah. But some players' parents bought them rings. But, there's nobody got a we got a little plaque that had the team picture and all the
now they get rings that are so big you can't put them on. I think they ought to do away with that big ring and just go back to a ring like I've got on my finger here. It's plenty big enough, and those others are so gaudy that a lot of people can't even wear them. They're too heavy on them.
They're gaudy, and Dad had one, the 1961 national championship team, and it was a classy.
That's right.
That he did wear most of his life.
And the thing about it, it was worth 5 times more than these rings that they're coming out now because his rings were pure gold. They
gave the players choices. They could get a silver ring or a gold one. Dad got a silver, and it had a diamond in it.
Yeah.
Dad later he got a bigger diamond from one of Mom's rings.
Yeah.
In there. But you can. If you go to the Alabama Media Guide, you can see pictures of all the different national championship rings from different years, and those from 1961, 64, 65, I think look a lot better, classier than these.
Well, I've got a class ring. When I graduated, we had a real good team, a very good football team, coached by Frank Sadler back in those days. Mike. And you people that go to the private school here in Troy, we're not taking anything away from the great great year you had in football and the year before and the tradition you're set. But, hey, look at it as far as quality of schedule. You would be much better quality of schedule playing a public school schedule. And I just off the top of my head, Goshen, Zion Chapel, Highland Home, Luverne, Elba. Give me a little help, Mike.
Right down the road would be Arrington.
Arrington, G.W. Long.
It would boost attendance, which would boost revenue.
Yeah.
It would save you a ton of money on travel.
Yeah.
All these parents are going back. We're not just talking football. We're talking, girls volleyball games too.
Providence Christian.
I bet it'll happen at some point. The other thing I would look at, though, is inflation is something I talk about from time to time, and it's really scary. And I just wonder in the future if more parents and grandparents that are paying those private school tuitions in the future might try to save money and send their kids from private schools to public schools to save money.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're not going to get involved in that part of it, but
we got coaching news. Looks like Florida State offensive coordinator Kenny Dillingham used to be at Auburn. Is now going to be the offensive coordinator at Oregon. Mike Norvell, the Florida State coach, got a year added to his contract, even though he went 5-7 this year. You don't see that much.
But they played well. They played well when it happened, when it counted, though. That was
big news on the Texas A&M. Isaiah Spiller, their great running back, is declared for the NFL draft, so he'll be leaving Texas A&M. And then we didn't mention this yesterday, but Matt Pizarro, the A&M quarterback, or Zach Pizarro, I think maybe is his name, that beat Alabama, is in the transfer portal. So A&M's quarterback is transferring out as well.
And I don't think he's going to get much excitement, though. I don't think I didn't think he was that good. In fact, A&M is going to.
In that one game, he looked really good.
Evidently, A&M's got a quarterback in waiting.
Well, he was the second string quarterback.
18 was their starter. Yeah, he got hurt.
Okay.
So obviously, what happened is this Calzona went to Jimbo and said, "Am I going to be the starter next year?" And Jimbo probably said, "Well, we're going to open the competition back up."
That's right.
Spring.
Yeah.
I can't make any promises. And he said, "Well, that's all I need to hear. I'm going to go somewhere where I can be the number one guy."
And I doubt if he's going to be a household word. I don't believe. But
what if he wants to come to Troy?
Yeah.
Take him to Troy.
Well, no, not really. I believe Troy probably got a quarterback as good as he is. But I will tell you this, right now.
He's from somewhere in Georgia. He might want to come to Troy.
I'll tell you this: Troy didn't give Tucker Kilcrease a commitment if he wasn't worth every bit of it. And, look for Tucker Kilcrease to be in the running for the quarterback position at Troy.
What if Paul Bear Bryant Tyson wants to transfer to Troy? Would you like him?
I was wondering about him. What do you think he'll do? You just sit on the bench the rest of his playing days?
I think he'll transfer because Ty Simpson is a 5-star quarterback out of Tennessee. Just won the state championship. Alabama. He committed to Alabama, I think, about a year and a half ago. But his dad's the head coach at UT Martin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Tyson would be running 4th string probably by this time next year.
All right, his name is Tyson.
He's the backup. He's the backup, and also they have this.
I know, but you said the kid from Tennessee. That I haven't heard this.
The kid from Tennessee is
Simpson.
He's a commit that was the Tennessee Player of the Year. I think he might be a 5-star prospect that's coming in next year.
Yeah, name me a couple of.
His dad's the head coach at UT Martin.
Okay, that's great. I tell you, now they've got a kid in waiting that's from Texas too, don't they?
Yep.
What's his name?
Yeah. He's Milroe.
Milroe is on. Now, do you think we'll know something whether or not he has been?
He's on the roster right now.
Yeah, and I think these coaches will probably tell these kids that, hey, you're not in our plans, and they can go somewhere else. Don't you think?
Maybe. if they're up front.
Yeah.
They should.
We'll take a short break. We'll be back. Brought to you by Troy Paint and Body. Re-meet by accident. We'll be back.
Be sure to watch us this Christmas season on Troy Cable Channel 2. This Christmas, we will be airing and replaying Christmas parades in your area through Enterprise, Troy, Ozark, and the surrounding areas.
No money down. No down payment. No payments till February 2022. No interest. That's right. It's November at Premier. Shop PremierTroy.com. And the most important nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
In the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle? We've got what you're looking for.
So come see us at Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Troy, and you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC.
At Cost Plus 10%, we offer your favorite brands at the best price. At Piggly Wiggly, we keep it simple. We price our products at cost, then add 10% at checkout. We carry all your favorite name brand foods, and we accept manufacturer coupons. Find us on Facebook and see our weekly specials.
You've got these protocols.
Back to our show.
Quarantine for 10 days, and people are now starting to realize that, that's excessive to make people that are asymptomatic sit out for 10 days.
Well,
if they don't send a kid, if they would have kept the kid at home, the rest of the school kids could have gone.
Yeah. Mike Amos calling in from Great Beach, and they've got some situation there on their kids going to school. One kid came to school, and she said reported that her husband was going through the.
No, she came to our preschool and told the director that her husband was sick at home with COVID.
Yeah.
And when they sent their kids to school, the school assumes that they've been exposed.
Yeah.
So the kid has been exposed and the mom's been exposed. So then they have to cancel school because of that.
Yeah.
So that's just the way it is.
Well, and ladies and gentlemen, it's an early vacation for that school. So you're getting your kids a week.
We're paying these teachers regardless. It's not like we get any money back.
Yeah.
So.
But
the bigger point is the hardship it puts on parents that have to find care for their children or stay home from their jobs.
Exactly. Just like you, just like Michael today, he's going to have to find somebody to take care of the
kids. Well, then you multiply that times millions of situations like this in America. It's really something that we haven't thought much about, but it's a big deal.
45 players in the NFL tested positive for COVID this week. 45.
This week?
Yep.
Golly, some of them might not be able to play.
Well, a lot of them won't be able to play. A lot of them have to sit out a week. Some of them, if they're unvaccinated.
No, I'm talking about the teams might not be able to play,
Yeah, you might be right if it's enough on certain teams. You're right.
Of course, we're back to
it's 97% of the NFL is vaccinated, so we hear this it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Well, you got 45 players, probably every one of them been vaccinated or have COVID.
Yeah. Want to mention our good friends that
Amari Cooper from Alabama was not vaccinated. He had to sit out for 2 weeks. He missed 2 games.
Oh boy, that's something.
See, that's what I'm talking about. And he was fine. I read up on him, but because he was unvaccinated, he had to sit out for 2 weeks. These vaccinated players, they can come back as soon as they have 2 negative tests, so they can come back in maybe 3 or 4 days. But the unvaccinated player has to sit out for 14 days. I don't get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, back to our show, and of course we're discussing back and forth, and of course these school situations can be a real problem with a lot of people if you don't have somebody to keep your children, and they tell you that school is closed. Well, it's not for you. You'll continue to pay them to operate, and then at the same time, you got to find somebody double. You gonna have to double pay because you got to find somebody else to keep your child.
You know what else has happened? Has happened is there have been people that want to just not go to work, and they say, "Oh, my husband tested positive for COVID."
Yeah. Oh yeah, that could.
So they get 2 days off from work. Yeah. They're probably fine.
Exactly right. Well, we're gonna get off this subject, but it's just Michael's problem is in Great Beach, Florida, and you don't have any babysitters waiting to do the job. Is that right?
Well, I mean, the babysitter has a job too, and then all the other girls we use are in high school, so they're trying to finish all the rest of the week as well. So we'll be fine.
I know you will, and of course we appreciate.
Don't feel sorry for us. We'll figure it out.
I know that. We appreciate Troy Bank and Trust Company today with the only bank you'll ever need with 14 locations to choose from, starting with the big bank right here in Troy. Sandbuck Insurance, ladies and gentlemen, on the square in downtown Troy. Mike, that used to be Rosenberg's department store, and Rosenberg was a great clothing store right here in Troy. And people came from miles out to buy clothes at Rosenberg's. You had upstairs and a downstairs. Upstairs was most of the women's apparel, and the downstairs was men's apparel. And it was a quality department store that served, they served wedding dresses, and they even had china departments, with all kinds of wedding attire. Right here in Troy with that local department store called Rosenberg's.
Hey, y'all want to say hello to Jack?
Jackson, how you doing, buddy?
Say hello there, buddy.
Hello.
And what are you doing? What is Santa Claus going to bring you, Jackson?
He asked what Santa Claus is going to bring you.
He's going to bring me a hot wheel track.
Okay.
A Hot Wheel track.
And then somebody also told me he's going to bring you plenty of candy and nuts. Is that right?
Yeah, he will.
And fruit. Hey, he's going to bring you fruit and plenty of fruit and plenty of candy and nuts. Is that right?
I'll tell you a funny story. This morning, I heard Jack in the bathroom TTing using number 1, and he was singing Christmas Carol.
While he was TTing. Well, thank goodness he knew where to TT. Is that right?
Yeah, he was singing Jingle Bells.
Oh boy!
I said, Jack, you got the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, you're right. And I know. Troy's a great Christmas town. You can take your family downtown and walk around the square, especially at night. It's beautiful. It really is. And then drop by and get you some hot chocolate or some ice cream, and just wonderful place to go to shop for Christmas is Troy, Alabama. And of course,
there's 4 great players left. They're supposed to make decisions today out of the state of Alabama. One of them is Shamar James, Faith Academy. He's a 4-star, number 64 player in the country. He committed to Florida. Last week his choices were down now to Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Texas A&M, and Nebraska. So he would be a big late pickup for Alabama. Also,
what position does he play, Mike?
He plays looks like safety, outside linebacker.
Okay.
Looks like Curtis Perry, put out of Pike Road, 4-star, number 74 player overall, defensive lineman, is trying to make his decision between Auburn and Alabama today as well.
And Rice, that's the guy you've been talking about all year long.
Yeah, he's the real deal, I think.
He's got to make up. He can make up his mind until Sunday. And then linebacker, this is interesting here. Auburn has come in late on Robert Woodyard, who had committed to Alabama for months. The linebacker out of Williamson, who Charles Henderson played this year, he could switch from Alabama to Auburn. So they're thinking that might happen. And then a kid out of Fairfield, Jacoby Albert, as an athlete, is also choosing between Auburn and Kentucky and some other teams today as well. So those are 4 guys
Well, you know what? All the guy would have had to do is sit there and watch Alabama and Auburn play the other day, and saw how Auburn's front just whipped Alabama like it was a yard dog. It really was. They wore them out, and he sees that right there. I reckon one of the things that makes him want to change.
Yeah, but Alabama's defense actually held Auburn 159 yards of offense. Alabama had 388 yards.
Well, they sure did. They were, but
about that game.
Alabama hadn't been whipped lately like they were whipped in the first half. Now, not the second half, but the first half they were whipped like they were a bunch of yard dogs.
Hey, I'm gonna have to get off the phone. My cell phone battery has died, but I'll be. If all goes well, I'll be back on set tomorrow. Mike.
All right, yeah, we might go ahead and have one of our
we
shows.
got to do our picket show tomorrow because the games start on Friday.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. We'll have one of our picket shows on tomorrow right here on this show, which will be a lot of fun. Get your pens and pencils handy, and I'll let you know who's going to win in college football the bowl games. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you, Rice.
See y'all.
Bill Rice,
Bill Rice didn't have a landline he can call in on.
Evidently, he doesn't. A lot of people don't have a landline anymore, Mike. I don't know why I do. All I get is a bunch of commercial calls all the time. Piggly Wiggly is a great local grocery store in Troy, Alabama. And Mike, you've shopped Piggly Wiggly all your life, haven't you?
Yeah, lived in Troy when I was growing up. You had the Pig near downtown. I guess over towards that area, and then you had the Pig where the country club was, and then I guess Troy now has Piggly Wiggly, I guess, in the regional location over there off downtown area, and then they have one over where I guess off 231.
That's right, sure do. And of course, two locations to choose from right here in Troy, and another one in Brundage, and it's a great grocery store. Steve and his people.
When I lived in Birmingham, I lived in Birmingham for 17 years, on and off, and Birmingham probably had about 8 or 9 Piggly Wigglies. And
they were very unique. Each one of them was very unique. A lot of people, a lot of times they serve food. One of the things they serve in Birmingham is chicken pot pie, Mike. It's about as good as you can get, isn't it?
Yeah, they are good.
And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is not one of my sponsors, but I will give them a credit for it. The chicken pot pie at Kentucky Fried Chicken is about as good as you're going to get with that wonderful crust. But that
is good.
Well, I can't wait to.
You don't see too many Kentucky Fried Chickens anymore. There's one down here in Freeport. Or at the Puniac Springs, there's one, but you don't see too many of them down here in Florida.
Yeah.
See a lot more pop-ups.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Of course, we appreciate Sister's Restaurant today.
Troy's maybe going to sign 5 guys today in football, so it makes you realize that I guess Coach Summerall's going to have to get a staff together and probably make a bigger push as far as the transfer portal and junior college. In February signing. It looks like Troy is not going to have many guys today at all.
Well, and that's understandable. I think most schools are like this. They're waiting to see what the portal will do. It's really crazy how they depend on the portal.
Yeah, but, it's kind of the blueprint you want to look at. It's kind of what South Alabama did. South Alabama brought in 18 guys that had previously played at Division I program.
That's right. Yeah.
Of course. They brought in Jake Bentley, who had a great year. He got hurt against Troy, and of course, if they win that Troy game, they go to a bowl, and then they almost beat Coastal Carolina and finished the season, went to overtime with them. So I think that's kind of the route you want to try to do. You want a guy that has been there, done that, been in a college program. I would much rather sign a guy out of the portal than a guy out of the high school right now.
Yeah, I would too. A kid that can play right now. And these are not. And listen, these are not outlaws. These are just people that want to play. These might be second or third teamers at Alabama. They might want to say, well, You know, if I don't go the portal route, I won't have to sit on the bench the rest of the way. These are good football players, but they're not given an opportunity to play because there's a 5-star ahead of him, you know.
That's true. Yeah.
And sometimes it's almost like a team says, well, we got a 5-star, we need to use him or let him go or whatever. And I'm sure a lot of these coaches are telling these players is you might be better off leaving this. You know, they're looking at the 85 total scholarships. They might be walking in there and asking that kid, they probably already done it, have sat down with the coach and say, hey, we are loaded with wide receivers. A few of you are going to have to go. We're loaded with offensive linemen. A few of you might have to go the portal route and play at another school. It's smart. It's smart operation. It really is.
Yeah, I need to mention again, Troy Trojans basketball team, Coach Carlson. They won last night, defeated Alabama A&M 66-57. They're led by the kid out of Montgomery, Desmond Williams, had 19 points.
He was outstanding.
Best game he's had all year. Made four 3-pointers. Kyle Waters had 12 points. Nick Stampley had 9. Zay Williams, kid out of Birmingham, had 8. Troy's really great players. Didn't really score a lot last night.
But, you know,
Duke Dean didn't score a lot.
Yeah.
The big guy didn't score a lot either. The guy that transferred in for Texas Tech, they've been playing pretty well.
The smallest guy on the court, did he play well last night?
No, he didn't.
What's that kid?
Troy shot 36% from the 3-point line. That's pretty good for Troy.
Well, that was better than they've been being. Yeah, it was much better than they've actually been being. It's 8:07, and we appreciate Wide's office supply.
Troy, their top player is Duke Dean, the guy that came in from, I guess, a junior college. And then the other guy that had been so good was the guy that transferred in from UTEP, Effie Odigi.
Well, now, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't play very well at all last night. So they got contributions for everybody. But, you know, they were able to keep Waters and Stampley, who were seniors last year. So when you're able to keep those two guys, that's the only guys he kept that were his seniors last year.
Great, yeah.
And those guys have still been able to contribute this year. So Troy's got their largest roster ever this year. They got like 16 players.
I'll tell you this, and it's the most athletic.
Everybody got the year from COVID.
Yeah. Now, they're not shooting very well right now, but I don't know if I've ever seen more good athletes on the court than Troy can put on there. Troy's got 15 players that I think every one of them can play. We were watching last night, Mike, this second unit that had this big number 30, whatever he is, a big kid, about 6'5", 6'6". Who is that, Mike?
That's the Turner kid.
Boy, let me tell you, he's a good-looking player, and he's a big, real physical guy, you know. And what I'm saying, the 5 that they put on the court are pretty good. No question about it. Each 5. I mean,
that's Christian Turner, 6'7", 220 out of Grand Prairie, Texas.
Well, let me tell you this. He makes a difference to have that strength inside, and he really played well last night, I thought, for Troy.
Troy had 18 players this year because everybody got the COVID gear back.
Yeah, okay. So they had 8, and the other teams did too, though, didn't they?
18 players. That's crazy for a basketball roster.
It sure is. But can they all play, though? Can you dress them all out?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So that's why Troy's got so many good players on the court, is because they got 18 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Now, the women play tonight, is that right?
I'll have to look and see.
Yeah, they play tonight, and they're a lot of fun to watch.
A big win over Middle Tennessee, where they won at the buzzer, pretty much.
And now when is Troy's?
Yeah, the women play tonight against Alabama Huntsville.
And that game is played here in Troy. So what's the time on that, Mike?
Let me check and see what time that game is tonight.
Well, I saw.
Looks like they'll play tonight at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. The women play tonight against
Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus will be making a stop at Trojan Arena. Children 12 and under will receive free admission with a purchase of adult ticket. and can take pictures with Santa and Mrs. Claus.
Oh, that's a great time for you, all you people with kids. Bring them out to the ball game. It's early. It's 6 o'clock, and Santa Claus is going to be there, Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus, and so it's going to be a lot of fun, ladies and gentlemen, from Trojan Arena. And watch the girls play UAH, University of Alabama in Huntsville. Is that right?
Yeah, they're Division II program.
Yeah. Mike, right here at Christmas time, and a lot of different things going on. What were some things that you guys enjoyed doing during the break? The break starts this Friday and goes all the way.
When you're in college, it was so much fun because you had all your friends come home from different colleges. Everybody came back from Auburn. Everybody came back from Alabama. Everybody had, we'd have a lot of parties, hunting camps, you go to. Then when you're a kid on Crow Hill, we all rode four-wheelers and played football and basketball and baseball and kickball and spotlight. We're always out in the yard running around. It was just a lot of fun. This time of year, seeing friends and family.
Then we had a big campfire. You remember that?
Yeah, we always had the bonfire on Crow Hill. That was always fun to look forward to. And then, of course, we'd travel to Birmingham and other places to see family. And a lot of years we went to Eufaula on Christmas Day.
That's right. Christmas night. Christmas night, yeah.
So it's always a lot of fun. If you want to know Troy's next football game, Troy will play at Ole Miss on September 3rd. That's only 261 days, 14 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds.
And that opened the season. At one time I would say Troy could play with Ole Miss, but Ole Miss has gotten quite a lot more physical than they used to be. The last couple of years, Ole Miss has gotten a lot more physical than they used to be.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin made a great hire when he hired DJ Durkin, the former head coach at Maryland, defense coordinator at Florida. He's a really good defensive coach, and that's made a huge difference. I read yesterday an article, a lot of guys opt out for the bowl games because they want to, not get injured before the NFL draft. And Kiffin came out yesterday and said not one player is sitting out that game, which is great to hear.
Well, that's good, yeah. And but you're right, a lot of them are doing that. And to me, it's a selfish thing. They forget about who brung them. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what my league came out and complained about it yesterday and said, hey, you got an obligation to this program.
You're right. You're exactly right.
And
dance with who brung you.
Yeah, well, definitely one of those type things. You got parents and agents in these guys' ears, and these guys just don't want to risk it. They feel like they've done enough.
Yeah, Mike, the Senior Bowl, used to be a great event. I go down and watch practice, and we go down to the barbecues and the seafood and all that. It was a lot of fun to go to the Senior Bowl, but this COVID, the portal is making that not near as lucrative as it used to be.
Well, the great players in the Senior Bowl are your senior guys, that are already,
can't play it again.
So, it's just one way to practice with actual NFL coaches. So you'll have an NFL coaching staff from different staffs. You might have the Carolina Panthers. You might have the New Orleans Saints coach a team. So they kind of figure out what practice is like, the ins and outs. What you've got to do to become a professional. The Senior Bowl is the greatest postseason game you can play in. So everybody wants to play in it. The big issue is, the juniors that come out can't play in it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll ever change that rule one day or not to let these juniors, because Alabama loses juniors all the time.
What I mentioned,
I don't know if they'll ever change it up.
Mike, I want to mention our great sponsor, Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass in Troy, Alabama. Ladies and gentlemen, nobody will beat a Premier deal. Nobody, and of course, you can drive through or ride through their list of huge savings on used and first quality used cars and trucks, and you can find them today at Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks, and they're dealing. Yes, they're dealing. Coach, want to mention Sarah today.
Good picture on TroyTrojans.com. Apparently, Tucker Kilcrease had a visit this weekend. A great weekend in Troy on an official visit with Coach John Summerall, and it's a great picture of Tucker and his mom and dad. So, Tucker will probably commit today.
They like Tucker Kilcrease, Brantley, and hey, when Tucker gets here, you get all the buses you can find, and y'all bus on over to watch him play in downtown Brantley.
Of course, Auburn is trying to fill a bunch of needs as well. Coach Carlson is out and about, and Auburn's trying to close and hopefully be in the top 20 for us recruiting this year. Yeah. We'll see how it goes for Auburn. Alabama's trying to battle for number one, but it looks like Texas A&M and Georgia are making a late push against Alabama today.
Yeah, I tell you, y'all, I just don't. Jimbo does nothing for me. I'm just telling you. I thought the luckiest thing that happened to him this year was to beat Alabama, but you have to look at it. The rest of the year, he didn't do much.
Well, that Texas A&M loss looked awful. I mean,
I know it.
Outdoor, dead man walking.
Yeah, that's right.
You would never in your life think that A&M would lose that game. You would figure that A&M would have found a way to win, but LSU throws that late pass and beats him. And
yeah,
I tell you what, that A&M fan base had to be furious.
You know, I tell you what, if I can think of any one coach that really walked away with whistling Dixie or walked away with any better feeling in their mind than the LSU coach, Mike. He takes all of that money. He won all those big games at the end. Hey, let me just say this. He's not unhappy at all. He's got living life of Riley right now. He's sitting down in Destin. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, that's...
it couldn't have ended any better for him, could it?
Yeah, Ed Orgeron apparently has a place down in Destin. I have talked to numerous people that see him around at all.
Go Tigers!
And places down there. Looks like Tim... Backett, a guy I know from originally at the head coach at Jackson Olin in Birmingham, is now the head coach at Spain Park. So congratulations to him. He'll do a good job there. Hoover job is still open in high school football, so that's like a small college job, getting a Hoover job. Be interested to see who gets that.
Let's take a look at that, Mike. Who will get that? The Jackson Olin coach or what?
Jackson Olin coach just got Spain Park job.
So did he? Okay, all right, good.
A lot of people are wondering who's going to get the Hoover job. Of course, everybody's trying to figure out who the coordinator is going to be at Troy, too. Offensive coordinator, defense coordinator. So
that's right.
That's something to look forward to as well. And also, Bo Nix is in the transfer portal at Auburn. A lot of people wonder where he's going to wind up.
That right there stunned me. That stunned me, ladies and gentlemen. What they're telling Bo Nix is that we don't want you. The Auburn folks are telling Bo Nix that we don't want you, and we're gonna let you go into the portal. And right now, the University of Central Florida needs a quarterback, and I can't think of anybody better than Bo Nix.
Well, they mentioned that Central Florida's in the mix. Ole Miss is in the mix. Texas A&M's in the mix. Florida's in the mix. Even Cincinnati would be in the mix.
Yeah.
That's schools they named. Of course, it's hard to believe, but Central Florida's going to be in the Big 12, and Cincinnati will be in the Big 12.
Yeah.
So, Malzahn left Auburn, and obviously Central Florida's been one of the best non-Power Fives.
Yeah.
Programs, but now they're going to be a Power 5 program, so Malzahn's going to end up being,
Well, nobody, I can't think of anybody that knows Bo Nix any better than the Malzahn, and he didn't have a problem with him, and I've got a real feeling that that's where he's going to go, to Central Florida. But like you said, Mike, Ole Miss, can he be as good as Corral was?
He's definitely a great runner. I think Nix is. I don't know if he can throw, though. That's the problem. You know, Corral had great touch, was a great, thrower of the ball. I don't know if Nix is.
Yeah. And one thing about Nix, Mike. One thing about Nix, he's got 2 more years, and that's the big thing as far as me picking somebody in the portal. I'll have the guy for 2 years, and he can't go anywhere else. He can go through the portal just one time. So
the interesting thing to me will be where his dad decides to coach. You know, does the dad stay in Central Phoenix City? Does the dad try to take the Hoover job? Does the dad try to get back to college football and coach his sons? You know, he's got Bo maybe for 2 more years. Caleb Nix, his younger son, is going to be a recruit this year. I mean, that's something you got to factor in as well. And
I've got a real good feeling to know that the coach Nix and Malzahn are good friends. Wouldn't you think that?
I mean, you would think there has to be a pretty good relationship there.
Yeah. I think that's where he's going to go.
Patrick Nix is the guy that was offense coordinator at Jacksonville State, offense coordinator at Georgia Tech, offense coordinator in Miami. So maybe he does want to get back to college.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. No question about it. He's a great coach. I know that. And another thing, Mike, what do we do with these sponsors? Didn't you say the tea people were sponsors?
Yeah, Milo's Tea. Yeah, that was probably a 1-year deal, so that might not necessarily.
So, Bo got paid last year to play.
I would imagine Milo's Tea is making a big run at Bryce Young now. I imagine they might want to pull Bryce.
Yeah, of course that tea out in California. You're right, no question. Of course,
I would like to be a sponsor of Milo's Tea. I'm drinking it as we speak. I drink about 3 of those gallon jugs a week. Yeah.
So, Mike, tomorrow we'll take a look at the first half of the bowl season and looking at some of these games. And one game that sticks out to me, Mike, as much as any, is North Carolina against South Carolina. North Carolina is supposed to be a lot better than South Carolina, but South Carolina has come on strong at the end. Isn't that right?
Well, North Carolina, choked in a bowl, in a game like you'll never believe when they got beat by NC State. NC State trailed North Carolina by 9 points with 2 minutes or maybe 3 minutes left to go in that game, and somehow came back and won. So North Carolina should have been 7-5 instead of 6-6, and then of course South Carolina barely beats Troy. Of course, blew out Florida, which was shocking.
Yeah, that's right.
That kind of was the end of Dan Mullen getting fired, and then found a way to come back and beat Auburn, which was shocking because they were down 14-0 with their third-string quarterback. So, I would I would pick North Carolina, but I don't know if Sam Howell's playing in the game.
Yeah. Well,
the quarterback might be getting ready for the NFL draft.
Yeah.
If he doesn't play, I would probably lean towards.
And I tell you what, he's good too. Howell is an excellent quarterback. And it's a situation same way at Virginia, Mike. They play in SMU. Virginia, if their quarterback is well, that's an entirely different team. But now without the quarterback, they're not very good. Don't you agree?
Well, Virginia coach is gone. SMU's coach is gone. Brett Lashley's now the SMU coach.
Yeah.
But Sonny Dykes, the staff, I guess, will coach that game, and then Bronco Mendenhall's out at Virginia.
Yeah. Well,
his staff will coach, but then Tony Elliott, the Clemson coordinator, is the new head coach of Virginia. So,
Mike, and another game is to me one of the better games is the Auburn-Houston game, and that game Auburn right now is a 2.5-point favorite, but and I think Auburn might match up pretty well against Houston. The Auburn run defense is pretty good, don't you think?
Well, it all comes down to Tank Bigsby is going to stay. Everybody says he's in the portal. Some people say he's not. Some people say he wants to transfer. And then Shivers, the other running back's already gone. Bo Nix is already gone.
Yeah.
So that would be a big factor. Yeah. I know Hunter was a great freshman running back at Auburn this year. Auburn should be able to physically match up pretty well offensive defensive lines. But Houston's got a lot of great skill players.
Yeah, including the guys from Enterprise that made All-American. Do you think he'll play in the game?
Who knows? Marcus Jones, the only thing that hurt him on his NFL draft stock is short. He's only 5'9".
Yeah. But also, back to Auburn, what do you do about Bigsby? When you think that his stock would rise, and and he could go to Southern Cal, or he could go to Ohio State or somebody like that.
Well, he probably wants to stay in the South. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you can go anywhere in the SEC. I mean, you can go anywhere you want to.
Hey, let me tell you something. You know who's looking for a running back? That's what I'm saying. You know who's looking for a running back? Alabama. They're in desperate need of one.
Well, Alabama will be loaded if Rodell Williams comes back, Jason McClellan comes back. They're both recovering from ACLs, and Cameron Wheaton.
Yeah, but they're
five-star running back out of Texas had a meniscus tear, and he hadn't played all year as well. So
yeah.
That's not counting Trey Sanders will be back as well. So Alabama's got 4 running backs. So
they do. Well, I didn't realize that. Only Mike Amos can tell me that.
The biggest issue is Cameron Wheaton. Is there any chance he'd be ready for the playoffs this year?
Yeah.
You know, Alabama needs a third running back for sure. But I don't know if you're not hearing anything about him. So
yeah. Malzahn,
situation.
You know, Malzahn has a situation with him, you know, in Central Florida, playing Florida. Mike, Florida is so loaded with talent compared to Central Florida. Wouldn't you think?
Well, you think, but you know, I mean, how bad they want to play. You know, Central Florida is going to be like the game of their lives.
Well, it's sort of like Mike. It's sort of like a big rivalry, you know. Game.
Well, I mean, I don't think they play very much, but I mean, for Central Florida fan base, I would imagine they'd be a huge crowd. I don't know how many Florida fans would really be into this game.
We appreciate all our sponsors, and of course, the show's brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass in Troy, where we're dealing like nobody else is. We're dealing.
No money down. No down payment. No payments till February 2022. No interest. That's right. It's November at Premier. Shop PremierTroy.com. And the most important nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Many sponsors for sponsoring our show and being loyal businesses that we appreciate very much. See you tomorrow, bright and early, for Today in L.A.
Save up to $10,000 on new Ram 1500 or new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Save up to $10,000 during the big finish event at PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. No
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.